for the year, and the actual branding is a Rotary with the wheel, and you can go, I'll show you where you can get all that. So thank you very much for joining us. This is Rosie Roppel and André Layral. So that's who we are. If you've never met us, we kind of look like crazy like that. And I'm going to play a little YouTube video for you and show you this is one of the videos that's on the Rotary, My Rotary Brand Center. So you click on that.
Possibilities are all around us. We see potential in unexpected places. And when we share our knowledge, vision, and connections, we turn great ideas into action in communities all around the world. We can make one change. We're Rotary. We are people of action. Get involved at Rotary.org.
Okay, so that's the People of Action campaign. And here's another one I want to show you.
Hey, Rosie, no one can see the video.
Oh, they couldn't?
No, I couldn't see it. No.
All right, so I'll send you the link. You can look at it. I'm really sorry. All right, so you can take the People of Action and you can put this logo over any of your photos. It's kind of fun to have photos that looks like people are having fun. I know André wasn't thinking, oh, this is going to be cool. What do you mean, get on the floor? Get on the floor. And so we made this fun picture. And people know this is Rotary. So here are your district regional resource leaders, for those that you were on. Whichever area you're in, please write their names down and I'll get whatever I can to you as far as their emails. I originally had their phone numbers up there, but I can get that out to you. I just didn't want to have it on a recording that was going all over the place. So everybody got theirs? Northern, Wayne Clark, Ankrel Centrals, Penny, Palmquist, Kenai, Nikki Engstrom, Matsu, Riley Rudd, Southeast, Catherine Beers and Juneau, and then, Michelle and Eric Zone and the district. Michelle is the RPIC and I'm one of her assistants. So let's see here. Okay, in order to get this stipend, that's why most of you are probably here, but we wanted to share with you a lot of ways that you could use your stipend. And you needed to participate in the Zoom webinar, that's this one. We're going to record it and hopefully we'll get this to you. Fill out or submit the application March 31st. That would be the deadline. It's on the application for the stipend and we'll send that out again. You'll get it approved. You'll send it to me. This is Rosie. Get it approved. Then you need to purchase and execute your plan and then resend your application with your receipt to receive your money by June 15th. So if there's any questions on that, you should let me know. Okay, this is what your stipend application looks like. And you guys can read. So I've actually filled one out for the Rotary Club of Ketchikan First City. And we have a team. These are the people on our team. And if you don't have a team, you have one person, you put that person's name down. If you want to develop a team, get those in. And be sure to put your phone number of your chair in. And anyway, it says, what is your public image goal currently? Actually, it's like membership recruitment, retention. And to thank our partners and encourage others. And there's a lot of other reasons, but those are our main reasons. And then what is your public image strategy? Create, this is what we're going to do. This is what you're going to get approved. Create and print brochures to hand out at various doctor's offices, at functions, and place in public areas. And number 2, electronic media possibly. Like we're going to create something to put up on a billboard or that's electronic, like at our airport. If that costs us money, we could spend the money on that. You cannot buy equipment. And what assistance would be most beneficial to your club? I put down probably people in our club would like to learn more about creative ways to use Canva. There's a lot of ways that you can use the Rotary Brand Center too. And then how will you be using your stipend money to implement public image strategy? Printing our signage and signage. So when we do projects, we put signage up. We spend a lot of money on public image, but there's a lot of free stuff that we use too. And so we use radio, newspaper, no equipment. Okay, we have already created our brochure. We have a public image person, Pat Tolley, that's on our team. She's our local librarian. She's going to be our PE next year, and she is PEE. Anyway, she's all about getting the word out. I'll show you some of the stuff that she's been doing. So we've already completed it. So what we would do, I'd have to send this to me, I guess. I'll send it to André. André, do you approve? Anyway, and then the receipt will be received before June 15th.
I approve.
And then, oh, thank you. And what would you like to see changed as a result of implementing your public image strategy in your club? We'd like to improve ramping up our campaign and more visibility because we want more partners, more money for the foundation, and membership. So I'll have time for questions at the end. Okay, why public image? This is what you want to do. You want to tell Rotary's story. And you just don't want to stick a picture out there, but it's got to be a picture of action, not a bunch of penguins standing there. Something's happening, and it helps tell your story. You can actually write things underneath it, like, why did this happen? You know, why did you do this project? Who did it affect, etc. And I want you to think about who your target audience is before you just stick something out there. And there's so many places and ways that you can get your public image out there. And mainly we want a consistent image of Rotary throughout the world. Everybody that's using branding now, hopefully, are using the correct branding. We have a brand center, and I'll show you where that is if you don't know where it is. And basically, Rotary is a lot different than other organizations. We engage members, prospective members, donors, and volunteers in communities around the world. A lot of people, their charities are just local. So when they asked, have you heard of an organization called Rotary? Take a look at Taiwan, 90%, India, 80%, Brazil, 60%, Kenya, the 60, the USA, 50%. This is kind of troubling to me. Germany's lower and Japan's even lower. So actually heard of it. That's amazing. And you could probably guess why this is. We've got Taiwan and India are growing in Rotary like gangbusters. And so they're getting the word out a lot. They're doing a lot of good projects. It's just amazing. So public image research findings in 2015, and it's really not changed so much. I think it's gone up a little bit. People that are aware of Rotary is 75%, familiar with any Rotary program is 65%, and then familiar with the local Rotary clubs. Now, in our little communities in Alaska, well, we've got a couple of big ones, but I venture to say in Ketchikan, most people that read anything or go anywhere know of Rotary. They may not know of our actual club, but we're trying to get the word out. Anchorage might be harder. Fairbanks might be harder. Juneau, I think Juneau's pretty visible. You guys will tell me. I think you're pretty visible in all of our communities, including Fairbanks. You have all your big playgrounds and all that. So enhancing public understanding. So all this works together. We don't do these in little silos. We work on them together. You have engaged members, which makes increased awareness, increased membership and contributions, and it helps us get partnerships. And that's what we need to do our projects. Okay, so get the story out. So Evan Burles is just a super guy with graphics. He is the most fun person on the, I'm gonna meet him at our Rotary International Convention. He's throwing a party, And I just can't wait to meet this guy. He's just, I see this picture. He's just the epitome of fun. And I know he does a lot of really good stuff while having fun. So that's what you're going to get out of having a fun campaign. So this is at Pets. These are public. I think some of you might see yourselves here. Anyway, these were the PEs of last year who are the presidents this year, and some of the AGs. So they are fun people. They went down there to learn, but yet they had fun. So the People of Action campaign is just a wonderful campaign. It's the communication to the public, and this is your target audience. We want to highlight what we do in the world. We want people to know what's out there and what's happening. I want you to feature real members and projects in your community. There's a lot of really great videos and really super good pictures and things that People of Action at the Brand Center that you can use. But if you put people in your own community, they'll go, wow. If they don't know these people, they're not going to say so wow, but it's better than nothing. So there's a suite of PRS and resources. And where do I find these? You go to the Brand Center. So you go into My Rotary. You can see up here, we have My Rotary. And then you go to the Brand Center. You can actually just Google My Rotary Brand Center and it'll take you there, but you have to have an account and you make it yourself. Don't forget what your passwords are, you know, that deal. Anyway, there's just all kinds of things. Our story, guidelines, logos, materials, ads, images, and videos. And there are more things there like new and enhanced resources. You guys can make your own videos. And we're going to have our resource leaders are going to reach out to you and let you know where you might get some radio advertising, and we'll see how that works. And so there's print, outdoor, digital ads, radio spots, messaging, and all that. So when you get in there, you're going to see all these options. And I'll show you something that we made from the materials part where we made our brochures. I'll show you an example of that. And you can go in and download these logos. And if you do a PNG, you can take that and superimpose that over your picture and the picture will come through it. Or you can get a JPEG and that's just a hard on top. So here are the guidelines. Be sure to look at the guidelines so you can let your people know the right ways to use your branding. So once you get in there, there are a lot of different kinds of social media. I haven't listed them all. Some of you are using other ones that are just terrific. Facebook, however, is probably the main one that affects more people. Instagram is owned by Facebook. Anyway, you want to share it to your club, your district, and share it to your friends. Share it on every member's Facebook page or in their Instagram. You're going to be able to create YouTubes of some of your projects. You can make digital ads you can put in your airports and various different places. And we're going to be sending more information about that, how you might create that. Maybe even at your theaters. Your visitors bureau might have a digital, some type of a board like we do in Ketchikan that we have at the airport. E-news, online, written media, video, radio ads, person to person is a big deal. Would you like to come have breakfast with us? And you know, Michelle O'Brien's always told me this little adage. She said, you know, getting somebody to join Rotary is like dating someone. You don't ask them to marry you on the first date, so think about that. Outdoor and roll up banners. And we have a lot of places that get these. So the People of Action, actually, Rotary has gotten these verbs okayed so they can use them. That's why there were 4 at first, and then they added a few more like mentor, empower, learn, save lives, fight hunger, promote peace. I do know that there's a lot of Rotarians that are making up their own, and they're using them. And So the basic thing that you want to do is get your story out and why you're a Rotarian. So who is involved? When and where did this happen? Keep your story short. Does this help my story? Details make a story feel alive. You can also think of this as an elevator speech, like why am I a Rotarian? But why are you in Rotary? You probably have 2 or 3 stories. Somebody needs a mute, please. Okay, so our club, our Pat Tully is our she's our membership chair, and she started making these ads, and she's really, really handy with this. I didn't even have a clue that she had this kind of knowledge, but I should have figured. She's pretty sharp. Anyway, so what she did was she had everybody in the club write down on a piece of paper what they like about Rotary. And Sherry Klein said, I most enjoy our camaraderie when working on club projects that are bettering our community. We have fun and enjoy each other's company. Sherry Klein, First City Rotary. And I have to tell you, I've become a good friend of hers because of Rotary. We go to things together, and just a wonderful question. Okay, so when we went to Zone, of course, these are all the wild and crazy people there. All the people running your districts, and a lot of the Rotaract people. These are the awesome leaders, and they have fun. They're willing to get out there. Some of them are doing the Polio Plus thing, and Michelle O'Brien got all these Alaska Airlines hats. Of course, you know, everybody knows the Alaskans. This is pretty cool. But together we connect, people of action. So easy to put that on. It took me like 3 seconds. And these were the Rotaractors, and so fun. And they're with one of our top leaders in our Rotary. So these are some of the ones that are already made for you. Notice how they're not looking at the camera, and notice how it's like rule of thirds. You can learn a lot from looking at these pictures. Here's a couple more. People in action. People in action.
Hey, Rosie, I got a question.
Yeah, who is this?
This is Russ from Juneau Rotaract.
Hey, Russ.
Should we be using those photos as an example and model our photos the same way, or should we be looking at the camera? What's better for PR?
Okay, so, you know, when you induct someone, unless you want to have time for a total photo shoot and just have everybody line them all up, you look over here and this and that, you might have to have some of those stand up, just looking at the camera ones. If you can get these pictures like this, I'll show you. That picture you guys took down at Pets was beautiful. And let me tell you why. Let me get to that one. Okay, this is the youth exchange. They're having fun too. So they're looking at the camera. This is a great picture. I don't know who took this, somebody that was up there at Pets. And a lot of these are our kids, right? You might recognize one of your youth exchange kids. There's Max, ours. And anyway, we're going to get to yours in just a second. So we want to show how many kids are involved. We want to show that they did a pie auction. They wanted a group photo so they could send thank yous out to the various clubs, the Pioneer Home, etc. Notice they all have their own shirts too, and on the back it says Interact. That is total great PR. These kids are doing. I started out doing their public image campaign for them, but now they have people that are doing this, and if they need help, I help them out. But this is this year's group, and they actually have over 125 kids in this club. This was early on Thanksgiving. Okay, so then Rotaract was at Zone, and with Barry Rassin, our Rotary International president from last year. And I just thought that was the coolest thing that he was doing a selfie with them. So I took the picture of him taking the selfie. I love this picture. And you can see everybody's face and nobody's looking at the camera. Now, who took this wonderful picture, Russ?
I don't remember who took it. I think it was one of the ladies from International. But we all grouped up right after Mr. King's speech, and we wanted to take that photo.
And it's awesome. Look at those beautiful faces. Now, this is a great photo. You can't get away from looking at the camera, but when I'm talking about when you're in action and you're working on a project, I'll show you some of those. So good job on this one. Okay, this was taken, I think this was on Catherine Beers, the Innovators, 58 Innovators Project Amigo. I don't know whose Project Amigo is, but I just took a picture off her Facebook page and I put it into the People of Action campaign app and put this over it. This is a fabulous photo. This is something that Andre could use in his digital world and put it onto the billboard or whatever in Juneau. And I'm gonna have Andre talk about that because we've got people from Anchorage, Fairbanks, Kenai, Juneau, Ketchikan, I know for a fact are here, and there's a bunch more of you too. So we like to highlight our young Rotarians and our veteran Rotarians. Alex was asked to speak at Zone back in Montreal, and I got this shot of her coming off the stage. And what vibrancy. She has a background of Youth Exchange, Interact, Juneau Rotaract, Ketchikan First City Rotary member, social chair, public image committee. She's on our committee too, by the way. And she was a speaker, but she just had a baby, and we're so happy we have a new Rotarian in our club. So, and then I was just showing, if you go to this app, maybe you want to write this down, just put app.poaphotos.com. I can send this to you too. But that's where I created this. And then you can put in text at the top. That's my niece. I just bragging a little bit here. Anyway, together we have fun. And at the top, I could say this is the Rotary Club of whatever, and maybe we're having a fundraiser and it's a tennis thing. Okay, so Ryla. And this was done in this app.poaphotos.com. And they're around together, and you want to advertise Ryla, Rotary Youth Leadership Awards. This is another thing you can do. Now, here's the brochure you can go to the Brand Center and make. And our wonderful Pat Tolley did this too. And the duck on the left, when we have parades, this duck is in the parade. And Michelle O'Brien brought this idea to the club when she came in and announced she was joining. That cracked me up. Anyway, we have our activities for City Rotary, and then people of action making a difference and get involved. So they put some of our projects up on the left. We're replacing the floors in the Pioneer Home, and then one of our club meetings photos. And I'm sure he took these off of Facebook. So you don't need high resolution to do this. If you want really big things, you do. So you want to have your public committee get articles out there. This one was in the newspaper for one of our projects. This is one I just did the other day that I pulled off of our website that somebody took the picture. Notice how there's a lot of action going on here. So this would be a good one also for Andre's electronic billboards. And
there's a lot of butts in that picture too.
Yeah, nice butts. Anyway, okay. And it's easier than you think. So Michelle, you created this in which format?
I didn't. It was designed for me.
It was?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So Apocalypse, of course, I had to throw that in there because it's a bacon party and a cook-off, and Andre, likes bacon. So, and she had, when she was doing ads on the radio, it's like, Suey! And everybody in town wanted to come to this thing, and it was held in a fun place. And anyway, so that's, and I know Catherine Beers, you guys rock this. So if you have an Interact or something and you want to show what they're doing, this is another thing. And I just I didn't even go to People of Action site to do this. I just put that in there. And then these are the verbs again: inspire, connect, transform, and polio, mentor, etc. Save lives, provoke peace. And then so before they tore this whole wall down, we put up our sign there. So they tore the sign down. They broke it, actually. They didn't mean to, but now they've got this beautiful mural in Ketchikan, if you've ever seen it. So we need to get our sign put back up. And, you know, you go through these phases of this comes down, that goes up. So that's our float in the parade, 4th of July. And we have our youth exchange kids on there. This happened to come from the year that Michelle O'Brien was our district governor. But I'm telling you what, every district governor after this has been in Ketchikan, André included, and they have walked with the parade to a couple miles and represent Rotary well. We usually let the kids ride, and we sell duck tickets. This is our big sales. So I don't know if you guys are so inspired. That head twist, and the guy that's doing that works on this for us, well, we have a team, but there's one ingenious person. He wants to have smoke coming out of the back end of the duck. So we'll see if that happens. And every year that duck has a new theme, whatever the theme of the parade is. And then on our public radio, they have a web page, our vocational awards. We got that up there. Now, when you have your district governor come, get the kids, get the officers, the kids. We want the kids. We want the kids. So together we connect. And Dick Sutliff was down, and that's our president in the back, Chris Baca. These were our Interact kids and our youth exchange. See, I can't remember who. Oh, inbound and outbound. We had Lita and Sarah. Okay, so then you get it in the newspaper. Make sure you think about when something's happening. Oh, call the newspaper, because they come, they'll take pictures. And if you're doing a big project, like we were cleaning up Rotary Beach, cleaning out the pool, and boy, the boys loved this one. Well, we did too, the girls did too, but these guys had a hard time sharing that machine, but you can see we had a good time. And then this is the signage at Rotary Beach. I know you guys have great signs everywhere, but the very first club in Alaska was Rotary 2000, and this was their project at one time, but they sold it back to the borough, and it has the Rotary name on it, so we all take care of it now. We chop up wood, we put it on Facebook. If you need firewood, come get it, and that sort of thing. And then these are the kids from a different year, the Interact kids. And then, so people of action, what success looks like. You have a team, you find your talent, you tag team, like if I'm out of town or Michelle's out of town, if everybody's out of town with the camera, somebody in that club will get up and get a picture. And we have a Rotary wheel that we made that we put in all our pictures. And when we're gone, when I was president, I got that wheel made. And ever since, if I'm out of town, people would go, Rosie will kill me. I hear somebody. So get your strong media plan, find and tell your story, and get the word out. So when you select a public image chair, this person does not do all this. You find different people in your club that can do it. The president could be your public image chair and gathers people together. Or you have a public image chair and you invite everybody in the club to be part of it. I've told them all, you guys are all on the committee. You're all to take pictures. You're all to send them to me. And if I'm not here, send them to someone else. Michelle's a great photographer, and so is Scott Brainerd. I don't know if he's on here, but he's pretty cool. He's going to be our president next year. So you can create media partnerships. Like you should have a piece of paper that you have all the contacts at the newspaper, the radio, etc. Anybody that you want to come and cover something you're doing that is handy for somebody to call. So you get media relations, go have coffee with them, make friends with them. It's easy for me. I'm a photographer. I'm always running into, when I'm taking pictures, I run into all the photographers from the newspapers, etc. So we all get out of each other's way and we help each other. And sometimes if my camera's like out of juice or whatever, one of those guys will send me a picture. It's pretty cool. So, public image comes from your public relations. One puts it out, the other is the result of what you put out. So you get the public image from your public relations. And you want to maybe you spend some of your stipend money on advertising, maybe getting things digitally put up on a wall. Maybe you're going to make those brochures and print them out. So when you have socials, etc., or do projects so that you can hand them out to people. But you just get them printed. You have to do something with them. So when you do this, you can measure impact over time. You can read all this: awareness, understanding, opportunities, better story, and stronger relationships. I put something on Facebook. I can't remember. I think it's the Facebook page that Michelle created. And I invited one of my girlfriends from high school if she wanted to be, join this group. And she's not even a Rotarian. And she thanked me for inviting her to Rotary, and she's coming to the club now. It's so cool. So this is next year's team. That's Joe, and these are the president-elects. And some of you are in this picture too, because I know I invited you guys too. And I'm just really proud of you. Look up on the wall, the Rotary District 5010. We had our picture. We had to clear out. The bar is right behind these guys, by the way. And then People of Action, District 5010, reconnect the world and tell your People of Action story. So that's pretty much it. So, questions? I have my notebook here.
This is Pamela Hill. I have a question. Can you hear me, Rosie?
I hear you, Pam, and nice to hear you.
Okay, so what my question is last summer when I started attending the president-elect meetings, we were told about this stipend, and because we didn't have any guidance on when we were going to have this webinar, our club went ahead and did some stuff in the fall. So are we going to be able to use that for our plan to send to you and get reimbursement, or does this have to start today?
No, it doesn't have to start today. And André, I'm gonna let you speak to this. I would think you just have to have some receipts, but just send it to me. It'll probably be okayed. It can't be for equipment. André,
No, it's not for equipment. We made poster boards.
Oh, perfect. André, do you want to talk to that?
Yeah, I think if you submit your application and indicate what you're submitting reimbursement for, you'll need to describe what your public image strategy is still. But I don't think we have any problem reimbursing the $200 for something that was implemented after I did my club visit. I have to take responsibility that we didn't get this off the ground until now. During the 13 weeks I was traveling, we were trying to coordinate time with our public image chair, Sharon Burns. And she's been traveling a lot. And at some point, we just decided we need to get this moving. So I don't have a problem with that. What I'd really like to do is have you think about, is there another use for the money that you might not have otherwise been able to implement? But we're certainly flexible on that. And I know that your club is gung-ho and has been doing some things. We've got a lot of clubs, for example, they've done signage in the past on past projects. And as I did my club visits, I found that a lot of clubs did not have signage with the new Rotary branding. And a lot of these brass plaques are 12 inches square, and they're hard to read, and they don't show the new branding. And I've been encouraging clubs to think about using their public image money to update their signage for their various projects where they have a physical place like a park bench, you know, whatever it is. So that's another thing that clubs have been doing is looking at how they can do that. So I hope that others of you are from that same situations. If there's any questions, Rosie will bring it to my attention and we'll make a decision and get back to you.
Yeah,
Okay, thank you. So does that mean you also mentioned that during the next year of 2021, that this may become available again, an additional $200?
This year we've put aside $10,000 of excess reserves. We have 25 people on this conference right now. We know that some of these people are not the club level public image chair. We know that some of them are AGs or are resource leaders and such. The hope is 38 clubs would apply for the $200 and do something related to their public image strategy. I think if Joe, as the incoming DG, wants to continue this next year, he will need to submit a proposal to the Excess Reserves Committee to continue it. It may not be $10,000. It may be that it's $5,000 based on how many clubs participate this year. But I wanted to make it a priority to get money for clubs to be able to implement some kind of a public image strategy. And I think if it's a success, then it warrants continuing it. They certainly will.
Okay, thank you, Andre.
Yeah, and also you guys, think about going to your boards and your clubs and making sure there's a line item for public image. And it would be anything, you know. I'm always telling everybody, when you do your project, put some money in there for signage, for the branding. And,
thank you, Rosie.
Okay.
This is Catherine, and I was also wanting to ask a question, and thank you, Andre, for your very wise and illustrated words. We're an E-Club, so that the physical presence is a bit of a difficult thing because we're all over the world. So do you have, in your experience, other examples of what E-Clubs have done to increase their public image?
Well, frankly, I think most of the things that a club can do for public image don't cost any money. So I wouldn't be worried about whether you can spend the money. I'd really like to think about what will be the strategy that you hope to provide greater exposure to Rotarians that are connected with Rotarians in your club so that people know about Rotary. What's the story of the E-Club? What are some of the ways that they're making an impact and connecting with the world? I certainly understand that you can't do something locally, but I think that a lot of clubs haven't put a lot of attention to public image. And that's why we required that if you want the stipend, you have to take this, because we wanted to educate our clubs about how they can do that. Up to now, there's a lot of great resources on the My Rotary website and the Learning Center and such, but a lot of people don't even log into My Rotary, and they're not even familiar with the Learning Center and that there are these kinds of resources. So we had a hidden motive there, and that's to try to get clubs to step back and say, are we doing everything that we can with public image? And if not, what are some simple things that we can do that are low cost? There's some of these things, of course, cost a lot of money, and the way that you do those is you get sponsorships to help pay for some of that advertising. I'll give you an example. We learned this week that the 4 airports in Juneau, Kenai, Anchorage, and Fairbanks, that there are digital advertising and marketing screens or displays at those airports, and they're all run through a company in Anchorage that's a marketing company. For the district conference, we're going to use the screen that's in the baggage claim area as people come into Fairbanks, and they'll be able to see some signage about Rotary. Some of these are quite expensive, but it's a great way to get a broad audience of people aware of Rotary and telling your club story. Outwardly facing, you know, there's a lot of things we do that we talk to our members, but we don't put as much effort into talking to those that are not Rotarians who are out in the community. And so by raising awareness of Rotary, we get people saying, that looks like a fun group. I think I'd like to be a part of that. Or they see something with you doing a project and they go, oh, I've been to that playground. I didn't realize that Rotary did that playground. And we really want people to brag about the things that they're doing, but we also want to tell the story of the impact of the people that benefit from our projects. So there's a lot that we can be doing with public image that will grow membership. It'll bring in new members, and it will, when we have a greater emphasis of new members coming into Rotary, that benefits the Rotary Foundation, because the projects that we do for district grants and global grants is based on our giving to the foundation. We got more members, we're going to be giving more money. And when we do projects, once you've done a successful project, you're more committed to saying, this was fun and it's made an impact, so how can we do something more? And I think clubs, it's a circular kind of a conversation, or a three-legged stool, however you want to use a metaphor there. But I just don't think that a lot of our clubs have an intentional effort of how they're telling their Rotary story and why people are in Rotary or featuring members in their club that are making a positive difference in their community.
So, Catherine, I was thinking about the e-club. You guys are already online. You're already meeting like out there, like social media, etc. You could use money to boost a good ad. You could create a great ad to join the e-club, if you know, and say the reasons why an e-club would be good for someone to join, and that you can join in with other local groups wherever you are. And maybe you could focus some of those groups, because I know Brian Shimmick lives in Ketchikan, and he has actually done road cleanup stuff, and we could get pictures of him doing that. You guys could put that out there, and then you could boost the posts. But you know, it doesn't cost a lot to boost a post. It's probably the cheapest thing ever on Facebook. And you guys could also you know, when you're doing the People of Action, like we're gonna do some seminars where you guys can get on. We're gonna teach you how to do the People of Action. We'll go, you know, that's the app. We'll go slow enough that you guys can follow along, and then it'll be recorded and you can keep it. And Canva, that's another media. Michelle O'Brien's gonna do something with that. I'm gonna do something on how to take good photos and how to have fun photos. People don't wanna look at people that are like just hanging there, you know. And Michelle's also talking about radio spots and how you can take, you know, make a good radio spot. So I really see that the e-club could use this to post, and everybody needs to be sharing stuff off your, like the innovators make these incredibly good ads about what's going on. Everybody in the club should be sharing that to their personal page. So think about that. Share, share, share. And let's see, what else? Oh, and then the app, André and Andre's actually got this great idea for the app, is that we're going to make, you know how the app pulls things from our district? This is our Rotary app for District 5010. Well, we have resources for club presidents. Anybody can go there. You don't have to be a club president. But there's a lot of info there. We're going to make a special folder that's just for good good action photos that have People of Action on them. And you guys can take a look at those as exemplars and create your own. And, you know, if you've got a picture that's all out of focus and you have a picture that's doesn't have enough megapixels in it, or if you have a picture that's not very pleasing, I wouldn't even bother with that one. I'd save that just so you know you did this thing. But you come up with your action photos, every one of you, like Project Amigo. That was amazing. I saw other pictures too that were as good or better later on, but I'd already done this. So it takes like 2 minutes to do this. And
Rosie, if I could just ask one more question. You talked about the app. Now, our e-club isn't on the app, but I'm understanding that it costs money to be part of the app.
Ask André.
Let me speak to that. The any of our 1,700 members in Rotary in our district can download the app, cost them nothing. When the $100 comes into play is that when the club adopts the app, they can actually put their own content in for their own members. We've got 21 of the 38 clubs now using the app for their club. We've got some clubs that are very advanced. Dan Phillips, I know, is on the call. He and Lisa are using it for both their clubs, and they're really flying. We've got other clubs that have purchased it, but they don't have somebody identified that's going to populate the app. And we want to do more training, and we want to use some of the clubs that have been doing the club app. But it does not cost any Rotarian anything to download it from the Apple Store or the Google Play Store. And that's an outwardly facing for the whole district. Only people that see stuff on the app are members of Rotary and District 5010. If purchases the $100, then the only people that see the content for your club are the members of your club.
So that, André, just to continue your story, and I'm well aware that because I have actually downloaded the app, but because I don't see the e-club coming up as a member, I suddenly thought to myself, could we use part of the stipend to buy, I guess, membership for our club, e-club, in the app?
You know, my thought is no, and here's why. We're not trying to do public image for our club members as much as we are telling the broader community about what Rotary is. And because the app is only inwardly facing, the $100 would only benefit the 20 or so members that you have in your e-club. It's not going to get the message out beyond that.
No, I appreciate that. I'm just trying to, because we had a little bit of this discussion within our club already, and the money seemed to be an object. So I will try and make a more, what's the word I want, dynamic argument to get us onto that app. Because if we're not on it, I can't use it.
Right.
Yeah. You know, we've encouraged clubs that if the $100 is a hardship, to find a sponsor to pay the $100. The district is contributing $100 already to any club that adopts it for their club. So we're $2,100 into it for the 21 clubs that have adopted it. And $100 for most of our small clubs is not a hardship, but if it is, most of them have a member who can make a donation as a sponsor for that $100. I don't want to minimize the challenges, but I really want to keep the focus here is how do we tell the broader community about what's the good work that we're doing in Rotary, and how do we engage them in a way that they may want to be members or they're going to support your projects and this sort of thing.
Exactly. Thank you.
So André, I have a question for you. So the $100 that they're paying this year, matched by the 100 from the district, does that expire as of July 1? Do they have to pay again, or how does that work?
June 30, all the clubs will be invoiced for $100, and the district will continue to match that $100. And we're committed to doing this because we have a 3-year contract with the app developer. The new app, or excuse me, the app will have an update. I think it's supposed to be in the 4th quarter of this year, and it will have a number of new features that when we purchased the app, we thought would be on the app, and they're not yet there. But I've been in contact with their developer and learning more about some of the features that will be in this new updated one. So everybody's content information in Club Runner needs to be updated before June 30th, because they'll be populating a CSV file, and anybody that has changed their email or their phone number and this sort of thing will need to have that updated. So the more clubs that adopt the app, it reduces the cost for the larger district app. Right now we pay about $3,500 a year. With 21 clubs, we're getting that cost almost cut in half. So it's a win-win for everybody. We offer it cheap for the clubs, we continue to match what the clubs contribute, and we reduce the cost for the district.
It's really worth it, you guys. When we have our duck sales and we're all out on the street in 4th of July in duck costumes and we've got all this $30,000 that's rolling in, we have to be able to call people to come pick up our money. And I know that's a problem, right? But we can get on our app and we can get anybody in our club. Just make sure that if their emails, not their emails, if their cell phones not listed and it's their home number, that's not going to work. So whoever is in charge of your club, you can go in to the back door and you can change people's cell phones. I actually went in and transferred people's cell phones in, but each member can go in and change their own cell phone numbers too in there on the app. So anyway, that's a beauty of it. Plus our calendar just keeps popping up. What's coming up next? What's coming up next? I don't even have to go to our Club Runner anymore to do it. But it comes from Club Runner. So you have to go to Club Runner and you put in your calendar items and then they just populate up to, it goes up to the app, if that makes sense.
So
And also put that money in your budget. Make sure that it's in your budget tell your president-elects they've got to get this and try to get a public image stipend somehow into their budgets.
So Rosie, I want to just make a couple of comments. Everybody that's logged in, we had 25 people on the call at one point. I think we're down to 19, so people are starting to leave because they probably have other obligations. We've got the names of everybody that's on here, but what I don't have is who's with what club. So I guess what I'd like to do is if you've been on the call today, if you would just send a brief email to Rosie and me that says not only what your name is, but your telephone number, your best telephone number, best email, and which club that you're with, then we can track this so that when you submit your application, we know that you've already participated in this. It's been recorded today for anybody that was unable to participate today, and they'll be expected to participate. And you know, what we want you to do is see the whole suite of things that Rosie presented today. I want to thank Rosie and I want to thank Michelle both for their commitment that they make as Zone Public Image Coordinator and assistant, and they've just stepped up and done a marvelous job. The resource leaders that were identified at the beginning of this, they're being trained. We've had 2 meetings with them so that they can be a great resource to your public image committee or your chair. But what we really want you to do is take advantage of the $200, develop a strategy, implement your strategy, and then step back and say, did anything change? What do we need to change so that we have more impact? I want to thank all the presidents who called in today, and I want to thank all the president-elects who also called in today. I think it's really a great opportunity here for all of our clubs to move the district forward. If you think it would be beneficial at our district conference here in Fairbanks in May, then in the House of Friendship, we can have a computer set up and we can have some members who are our resource leaders who are at the conference take time to work with anyone from your club there. If there's interest, we can do a breakout sectional at the district conference, or we can even have it set up so that there's just one-on-one help for clubs. The last thing I want to say is that take a look at the projects that your club's done in the last 10 or 15 years. And is the signage something that when you go up to that project that everybody in the community knows that it's Rotary? Is it the current branding? A white sign with blue or gold on it stands out better than a 12-inch brass kind of a sign. I'm not saying that those aren't important, but I think that a lot of people, when they see the white signs, it really jumps out at them. For our playground project that we have in Fairbanks, we have a 4x8 sign that has all of the partners that worked with us on our Rotary project, which is a pavilion and park. And it's been up there for 3 years. It's the most used playground in the Fairbanks area. And everybody that drives by that or comes to the playground knows that that's a Rotary project. If there's from a distance, they mean, I did some visits in clubs this year, and I couldn't find their signs, and I asked, "Where's your sign?" And for some of them, they had to point out the sign to me, and they weren't in a location where you could see it when you're driving by or driving up to it. So I think updating your signs is certainly a very appropriate use. You can do paper size posters or vinyl banners. And I saw the one in the Ketchikan airport that Rosie was referring to, and that was so great when I got off the plane and I saw the signage there. And they had that big reader board, and I mentioned to Rosie, does your club do any advertising on the reader board? So now that we've learned that 22 of our 38 clubs in Alaska have the capability of doing advertising on those digital signs in 4 airports in Alaska, I think that's a marvelous opportunity. If you've got a movie theater, probably the advertising in those are about the same rates, but a 6-second picture seen every 3 minutes for a half hour is probably going to get a lot of attention to Rotary. So don't underestimate how important it is that people see that visual identity of Rotary's brand.
Yeah, and check out your Facebook and Instagrams and make sure you have the right branding. I've got them up here right now. You know, the themes are not your branding. You'd have to change your theme every single year.
Yeah, and the Rotary Opens Opportunities, that is the theme for 2020-21. That begins on July 1. So I don't recommend you put the theme on signage unless
Right.
it's going to be for that year. But if it's not until 2020-21, it's the signage for the current year, which is 2019-20, Rotary Connects the World. You want to have that on any signage. So
Right.
keep in mind, and if you want to use it year after year, don't put the theme on there, just put the Rotary branding on there. Some of you have seen the shirts that my team wore this year at last year's district conference. It's a bowling shirt. It looks like NASCAR, but it had Rotary Cares for Kids. It had the Rotary branding on it. It has the People of Action on it. We've gotten a lot of positive comments about the shirts, and there's no mistaking when people are wearing that shirt that there's a Rotarian in their presence.
I've got the picture up right now, and it also has the polio plus and all the, you know, avenues of service, etc. It's got everything. André, you did a good job on that. Good job. Okay, so if you guys are interested, we're going to have a little short photography how-to. We're also, and it'll be using probably your cell phones or a small digital camera. We're going to do something with Canva and radio spots and People of Action. And you'll be contacted by your regional person. And André mentioned that the regional people should meet with their AGs when they have their meetings, so that if there's something going on, they can pass that along to you guys too. So anyway, thank you for coming. I'm sorry this drug out so long, but you guys are awesome, and I'm dying to see what's going to happen now. So thank you.
You have other things you could be doing this morning, but you're here. You showed up, and I really want you to know how much we appreciate your interest. And so best wishes for success in your public image campaign.
Yeah, thank you guys. See ya.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, you guys can sign off.